with BT Indiecast. I know it's been a while, but we got some cool things coming up this fall, and I want to fire up the old podcast. I got my buddy Josh Kesler over here, and we're doing a special Aftermath edition. I'm calling it Aftermath because we want to do, Josh and I are going to start doing a little bit of a Indiecast about after the show, when the show's over, how things went, a little bit of inside info, a little bit of business, weird stuff, cool stuff, because it's always an adventure pulling these shows off. And a lot of people ask tons of questions. I thought it'd be cool. You thought it'd be cool for us to get together and talk after a show, fresh from what was going on, and just talk about how crazy it was. The aftermath of We Survived the Poison, Lita Ford, Grimsley Rose show.
It was a storm.
It was a lot, wasn't it?
It was a lot. Going ahead and say we had a great crowd for that one. What I found super cool, and this is the nerd in me.
Right. I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. So I worked the meet and greet, and I worked with Rob. And he has been with Poison for 35 years.
Oh my God.
The longest management member that they had. Super cool dude. Super relaxed. Rob Stevenson.
That says a lot.
That does.
That they work good together. He's like in it to win it with them. And
shout out to him, man. He was cool. He done some of their security stuff before. You can tell he was very starting to know what he was doing, but super nice guy. So super had it together.
He was there when they were here the first time.
Yeah.
14 years ago.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Been with them 35 years. Imagine working for a company or being with...
That's like you can retire in 20, like at Ford or whatever.
Yeah, and 35, they put that much faith into you to do your job that you've been around 35 years.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's good, Josh.
Cool.
That's a good little tidbit.
That's something neat.
No, I like it.
It was definitely crazy. Grimsley Rose performed well. Lita Ford is like she just started again, like she's just so fresh, so clean, like she's just phenomenal. She's a super talented individual. Bret Michaels, you can talk about the Rock of Love all you want. You can talk about all of his past dwellings or whatever, but the man can sing, and he gets better with age. I swear he does. And CC DeVille is an unsung hero. Can I say that? I know he doesn't sing.
You just said
he's an unsung hero.
He literally is an unsung hero.
He really is. He's so talented. He is so underrated. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're a super fan of that kind of big hair metal.
Big hair
they don't have that anymore, but
listen, they're one of the ones that you throw in as like the staple of some of the big hair bands.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why they're on that world tour.
Exactly.
With everything. And the weird thing is, they came off of that tour to do this one-off kind of thing. So, did you know that we were on the shirt? We're on the...
Yes.
I couldn't believe that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, somehow they really hustled and got Pikeville on the shirt.
I love it.
It's like wedged in between Chicago, Detroit, Pikeville.
Yeah. He was coming... Brett actually showed the footage of him coming from Chicago, coming right in, and I was like, we're not on the shirt. And I looked at the GM Sun shirt that he got, and I was like... Pikeville, Kentucky.
I know. Haas down at the store, he was showing me. He's like, we made the shirt.
Shout out to Haas.
Cool. Yeah, shout out to Haas.
He's the man.
Here's a couple weird things that, my mustache. Here's a couple weird things that is kind of behind the scenes stuff that I thought was super cool. Okay, nothing against any artist, but a lot of artists, they come in the bus, they go to the green room, they go straight to the stage. They're not hanging out talking to anybody. They have their own crazy life that we'll never understand.
Yep.
Brett and the drummer, Ricky Rocket, they talked to my stagehands for like 20 or 30 minutes. Brett got out of his RV thing and talked to Rodney, and my stagehands talked like about his health. He was talking about how he's been in the hospital. He's going to make tonight awesome. And it just blew me away how super cool they just wanted to hang out and talk.
He's very personal, but I tell you something, and I don't know how deep I can get into this, but something that I don't see a lot is bands with separate dressing rooms.
Right.
And they had separate dressing rooms.
Oh, yeah.
You can go back to a different tale, and you can dive into that story however you want. But Brett, Ricky, CC, all of them
had their own
dressing room. I was like, wow, this is unusual, but whatever.
Right. I know. How many buses were they? Do they all have their own bus?
They had, there was actually wound up being 7 or 8 buses.
Yeah, so they all had their own But hey, you know what? They've been together like 40 years.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Sometimes you
they can have their own. They can have their own dressing room.
Separation anxiety. It happens.
And you know what's weird about, not weird about the show, but what people don't get, because I had, a couple messages like, "Hey, awesome show last night." Like the Lita Ford and them, that just got put together. The promoter and the building worked that out. And sometimes you got to find what artist is close by and what fits, and then the band approves it, the manager approves it. So Lita came in, and Poison, sure, they've played together before, but they were totally separate entities. They were just this show just got built, and there they are.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to see them all still working good together. Getting Lita all her stuff on stage, all the stuff off.
Super nice person she was too.
Yeah.
Something else a lot of people don't realize too that was kind of behind the scenes. Poison came in. They kind of got their lines crossed and didn't realize that we had a third band.
Yes.
And Grimsley Rose out of Lexington actually have a couple members out of London and or throughout that central South Central area. Didn't realize that they were a third band on, so that's why the doors changed from 6:30 to 6 o'clock,
right? To
get Grimsley Rose in there at 6:30, and then Lita at 7:30, and then Poison at 9.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, "Why did this happen?" It happens. Poison does not want to get off their schedule,
right? Well, that's the headliner.
Yeah,
the headliner's schedule is in concrete.
Yes,
everything else you work to fit around it.
100%.
And communication lines sometimes aren't the best. Nobody knew. The tour didn't know that Grimsley was going to be there or whatever. And
they don't look at posters or nothing. I'm
right. Yeah, and so they make it work. And Grimsley, like you can, on one hand you could go, man, they had to play during doors while everybody was coming in. They didn't get a full crowd, but they got to play during doors of 4,500 people coming in. They got to play still to hundreds or even in the thousands of people.
People were lying. I heard when they were playing, they come right on in there, and we got people through the door fast. We're trying to do everything. Still dealing with the world is not 100% right yet, but we're still doing everything we can with the clear bags and all that. But they did phenomenal. They did really good. They're a really good, like, on the spot band.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they're used to that kind of thing. Yeah. I've worked with them before in other places, and same kind of scenario. They get wedged in there sometimes, and it all works out in the end. But it is weird that everybody thinks, for one, there's a million parts, and it takes dozens of people, and it works, and it seems seamless. But also, there's a ton of things that can be changed on the fly. Yep. Minute by minute. Well, there was management changes in Poison. Yeah. 48 hours before they got there.
Shout out to Rusty Hooker.
It's real.
That's real.
That's what he goes by, Rusty Hooker.
I looked at his license. His name is actually Rusty Hooker.
Well, there you go, Rusty Hooker. So that was awesome.
I wanted proof. You know this.
That's awesome. You looked at his license.
I need to see your license.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not afraid.
This is one of the most positive. Like the day after kind of positive reviews that I've seen too from people. Like everybody's
love it.
Going on. That was such a good show.
I heard people saying that was one of the best shows they've seen at the arena.
That's kind of crazy.
It is. I've seen a lot of people say this was my first show and I loved it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Make those memories.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Poison has been on the schedule for. How long?
2 years.
2 years with COVID and crazy things going on. And then the opener, probably changed 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
And then Lita finally got nailed down. And everybody thinks, too, I had a lot of people messaging me bragging on the sound, which I would love to take credit for, but I had nothing to do with the sound.
I think Tony should take credit for that.
But a great company called United Sound from northern West Virginia came in and took care of all the sound and lights.
West Virginia.
There you go. They came in and did that. The opener got booked in there. Poison is the headliner. Grimsley Rose comes in at the last second.
Not a hiccup.
And it all worked.
Not a hiccup.
I know, it's
seriously.
crazy.
You got to give them credit.
Yeah. And just another little bit of, maybe it's too geeky, maybe it's too technical, but
I like when you get geeky.
But basically what we have, Lita Ford didn't tour with any of her gear. So all the amps, drums, bass amps, all that stuff.
came straight from a bus. They rented buses.
Yeah.
And come in and like
they had their guitars.
Yeah,
and that's it. And so it was up to us to find a backline company, which means the backline of all the instruments that fit exactly what Lita wanted. And so that's another company, and I believe they were from somewhere crazy like Minnesota or something. I believe
you're right.
And they came in, and then my guys helped, tech that whole day and get all that going. So Lita just walked in, and like those amps, she had never seen them before, never played. The drummer had never seen those drums.
But
of course, they were to spec, what they wanted. But, that's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And how early, people was there. Well, actually, we started the day before.
There was a guy that was lined up at 8 a.m. because I arrived at the building.
You mean for a ticket? Like to get in the show?
To wait to get in the pit. He wanted to get in the pit.
Oh, my God.
8 a.m. I arrived there about
crazy.
7:45, and then I was kind of walking around, of course, and I saw him. I was like, oh, okay. Then more started coming, and more, and I was like, wow, okay.
That's cool.
Dedication.
Yeah.
So,
that's kind of crazy.
It is.
That's cool. But we all survived to live and fight or to rock and roll another day.
That's it.
And you guys just announced Winger, Warrant, and
Bullet Boys.
Bullet Boys. So another right in that same kind of genre. That'll be super cool. And then we mixing it up with Jamie Johnson and Blackberry Smoke. You know what they're called?
Yeah.
So this will be cool. So anyway, we're just going to this is like a proof of concept. We're just wanting to talk a little bit about the show. I want everybody to watch the show, ask us questions to see maybe we should cover something else or something like that, or is it even worth doing? But let's do another one for the next show. What is the next show coming up?
The next one we got Foreigner.
That'll be perfect.
August
Foreigner's
2nd.
an awesome band. So let's do another one, another Aftermath.
You know what would be kind of cool with this if we did like a delayed show, to kind of set up above the arena there and show kind of a delay of everything that's happening.
Oh, time lapse?
That's it.
Delay.
That's the word I was looking for, time lapse. Marketing doesn't know words. I'm sorry.
Let's do a time lapse of the setup. Yes, that's a great idea. And then after the show, we'll talk about it. Who knows? We were supposed to do this right after the show, but I kind of forgot.
You're fine. He left and literally left everything in my office.
I did. All right. Well, Josh, I think this is cool. Let's do this again.
I'm all about it.
All right. So BT Indiecast Aftermath Edition. I guess this is episode 1.
Yay!
Catch you guys next time.